Hey, good afternoon, guys. We'll go ahead
No
and let
problem.
everybody in. Happy Tuesday. Give me 1 second. Hold on. You guys hear me okay? I think Joaquin, I couldn't hear you when you said something. If you said something.
Oh no, I just said good afternoon. That's it. How you doing
Oh,
today?
doing good, bro. Doing good. Okay, I can hear you now. Okay, sweet. Let me go ahead and turn my audio up. Sweet. Nice to see you guys. I know we took a break from the call last week. I did have an emergency with my daughter that popped up, but we are back and we are good. Glad to see some familiar names and also some familiar faces in the chat. Sweet. All right, let me go ahead and see. Perfect. All right. So as always, I mean, we still look like we got a small group today, which is fine. I love small groups, so we can have like an intimate setting to kind of like just discuss on what's working, what's not working, or answer any questions that you guys may have on anything that you're actively working on. So if you guys want to open the floor and ask some questions or just discuss anything, feel free. Currently, what I'm working on is I am currently posting some deals on the MLS that we have under contract that we couldn't find buyers for. So I'll just be working through that and then just go from there. So if you guys want, we guys can have open dialogue or just let me know if you guys need anything. And then also, Julie, I think I just responded to your email as well too, because it came in late Friday. And I just responded back to it if you still need help with the tax delinquent lots. Sweet.
I want to know how to find them. Maybe we can do a call after to reach to do those. So I mean, I did. But I have a question for you too. I have this like lot, right? And it's no good. So I need to send the cancellation. What should I tell the guy before I send it to him for cancellation?
So you sound a little bit in and out, but what I made out from what you said was you have a cancellation to send out.
Yeah. What should I tell him beforehand?
Oh, so I would basically just tell them beforehand, like, hey, we after conducting our due diligence, we noticed some things that didn't align with our underwriting guidelines. So at this present time, we do have to move in a different direction and cancel the contract if you're still within your due diligence period.
Yeah, yeah, it's very good.
Okay, yeah. So I would just tell them that, hey, we checked with our partners, we did our due diligence, and the property doesn't align with our underwriting guidelines.
Yeah, thanks so much.
No worries. Yeah, canceling contracts is never fun. And it is also a little bit of a, not, I wouldn't say awkward conversation, but it is part of the difficult conversations we do have to have in real estate with some sellers. And I think as long as you're transparent about it, you should be fine. But yeah, canceling it's never fun. Hey Carla.
Hi,
Hey, how are you?
fine. What are you guys doing?
Nothing. We were just having just open Q&A. I just answered a question with Joaquin. But yeah, we don't have no topic to cover specifically today. Just any questions or anything that you guys currently working on.
Hi, Lena. I invited Lena
Oh, hey Lena,
Matthew.
thank you for joining
Yeah.
us.
Okay, I have some questions.
Awesome. I love it.
Okay, and then I have something I want you to look at too. So let me start with the questions. They
Mm-hmm.
talk about when you first get started, I hear, learn the area so that you're interested in. So how do you learn that area? How do you study the trends? What resource tools that you could use? Because see, you're a realtor and a land investor.
Mm-hmm.
So I know you look at things a certain way. How do I develop that? And although I'm cold calling, you'll be proud of me for this. I'm cold calling daily. How do I look at an area outside? Because I'm in Texas and I'm looking at
Mm-hmm.
areas like Ohio and Tennessee. I did look up what, if there's any rules or laws regarding wholesaling in those states. And I found
Mhm.
out some interesting things, so I did that.
Nice.
But when I look at properties in an area where it looks like it's really slow, the comps are 2 years old, what should I be looking for? How can I look at that situation and it makes sense to me if I should pursue or just call. Of course, I'll probably call to see what's going on, but I'm also gotta look at the aftermath. I get it under contract and it doesn't sell. So are you understand where I'm going with this? I'm not sure what to do
Yeah.
with those kind of things, how to think about that.
Gotcha. Okay. So the first answer to your question, it sounds like it pertains to like market research and then getting a better feel for the market and stuff like that.
Yes.
So one of the things that I do is I like to look at it from the perspective of supply and demand, right? Because most people, one of their fears is, I don't want to be in a market that's oversaturated, right? But the opposite of that is basically being in a market where not a lot of people have any interest or there's no demand for you to even make any profit or be profitable in, right? So you do want to find that equal balance of, I want to be in a market that has enough demand that I can either do deals consistently in, or I can, align myself with the acquisition targets or goals that these corporations make in order to kind of wholesale to them and be a service provider to them, right? So the fact that you're in Texas, it's a non-disclosure state, that doesn't necessarily make it a bad thing, right? But you would have to do a little bit more work from a networking standpoint to see where the demand is or where the demand is located, so you can best position yourself to serve the buyers in that particular area. Does that make sense? So
Oh,
like
yeah,
I've never done
yeah.
any business in Texas, but if I were to do business in Texas, the best way to verify where to place yourself or where to even start marketing at is figuring out where is the demand for, like your services, wholesaling, whether you're selling lots to builders, fix and flippers, you got to find where the demand is, because essentially the you have to think of it in terms from the buyer side, right? The people that we're servicing, their product needs to be able to be resold to people that are looking for retail. So, like if you're servicing home builders, their product that they're making is new construction, and their product needs to be sold for people that are looking to either buy their first home, second home, retirement home, whatever home stage that they're in, and get a newly built house, right? So you gotta talk to the builders, talk to the realtors as to where do builders have demand for their end product, because that's where they're going to be looking for land at. Make sense? In a
Yeah.
non-disclosure state. In states where the stats you're able to see the stats of like what homes sell for, what land sell for, then it's a little bit easier. You kind of just align yourself with, and I'll show you this in Land Portal, because Land Portal recently just made an upgrade to their platform. And then before they made this upgrade, there was another platform called Land Stats. But Land Portal just essentially, y'all remember me going over Land Stats, right?
Oh, yeah, I did. I
Okay.
remember last night, yeah.
So basically, Land Portal recently came out with a feature that is very equivalent to Land Stats. And I'll show you right here. Give me 1 second. Go ahead and pull it up. Land Portal. Okay. So it's a heat map. So if you have Land Portal, this is just on their $99 a month plan. And then what I like about it, I think a better job that they did that Land Stats didn't do is they have a better color scale with a color coded system that tells you, like, if it's green, it's in a very excellent market. And then obviously you have the lighter green, this yellowish orange, and then obviously everything that's poor is in what, dark orange or dark red, right?
Okay, so all
So
the green.
yeah, all of the green spots is where you basically want to look into. And then you know where not to go, if that makes sense.
Oh, question
And
for you,
then another,
Francisco.
you
Sorry to
said what?
interrupt. Question: how did you find that on there on in Land Portal? How did you
Uh,
find it?
yeah, so it's on Land Portal and it's on one of their, I think you have to do their $99 a month thing. And then on the left-hand
Uh-huh.
side, their navigation menu, it's market research.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I have that. I'm gonna look into it. Thanks so
No worries. Yeah. So then, yeah, you do market research. You can also do it by county as well too. So let's just say if you doing Florida, search market data, it'll give you a breakdown of 0 to 1 acres. This is how many lots sold in the state of Florida, right? And then of course you want to be able to break this down by county, but you can also look as in a general overview of what sold in the last 7 days, 30 days, 90 days, 6 months, things of that nature, right?
much.
And then to finalize the last part of Carla's question is what you want to do is you want to, anyone want to put a market in the chat, a county? It could be in Florida or it could be anywhere. Citrus, okay. So let's use citrus as an example. All right, boom. And then now it's giving you the breakdown for the stats in citrus, right? So one of the things that you want to do is you first want to see the acre asset that you're targeting. So let's, for example purposes, we're going to do 0 to 1, okay? And then what you want to look at is in this particular county in citrus, you want to look at how many properties went up for sale in the last 7 days, and then how many properties sold in the last 7 days. The way you can indicate if there's a strong demand in any market is if there are more properties sold that went up for sale. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I see now. So you said okay, I
Yeah.
get it.
So
You gotta look
for
at both.
citrus,
How
correct,
many went up for sale, then how many were sold? Okay.
correct. So let's just say in a 90-day time frame, 528 properties went up for sale in the last 90 days in Citrus County, but only 439 of them sold. So, I mean, that's relatively good. But then if you wanted to see a percentage breakdown of that, that would be 83% of properties sold in the last 90 days.
That sounds pretty good though, doesn't it?
Yeah, I mean,
Okay.
it's pretty, it just depends. I would say anything over like 90% is a very good indicator in the 90-day mark that you have a very good chance of selling quickly if you price it correctly. Does that make sense?
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Yeah. So that's me personally, that's the main thing that I look for, especially when you're land flipping, because this will give you a gauge of how to taper your expectations with the seller and also with yourself to give you kind of like a timeline of how long you should expect to sell. That makes sense.
So can you look at something real quick? Okay, so when you get to the higher acreage, like 20,
Mm-hmm.
10 to 20, 20 to 50. So looking
Mm-hmm.
at what you have in front of me at the 90-day mark, it says what, 350%?
Mm-hmm.
Is that pretty
Yep.
good for that with that amount of
Oh,
acreage?
that means that there's a high demand for acres between 20 and 50. 20 and
Oh,
50 acres. So if you see anything over 100%, the best way to think about this is, let's just say you're selling lemonade, right? And you start the day off with 10 glasses of lemonade or 10 bottles of lemonade. And then by the end of the day, you end up selling 15 bottles of lemonade. Does that make sense? So
yeah.
at some point, you had to go back and restock, right?
Okay.
That would be the equivalent of in a market, this means in the 20 to 50 acre range, that means people are, if it's over 100%, that means people are buying faster than things are going up for sale.
Wow.
So yeah,
And so when you're hitting that 10, that 20 to 50 acreage, is that something that a newbie could look into, or just flip the infill lots for a while and then graduate up to that?
I will start with the infill first and then graduate up with that. Yeah, because with the larger tracts of land, there's a longer due diligence process. It's a lot more digging and investigating that you have to do, and it requires a lot of communication between you and the seller, and also other parties as well too. Because most people, there's so many things you can do with 20 to 50 acres. There's some people that might only target 50 to 100 acres and their whole goal is just to subdivide it and then sell it into individual lots, right? Because the more acres you buy, the cheaper it is, price per acre, right?
Okay.
And then alternatively, another thing they can do is like entitle it. So meaning taking it through the process of getting the 20, 50, 100 acres approved for site plans. And that involves going through the politics with the city, the county. You have to hire out engineering firms, do traffic studies. It's a very in-depth process that oftentimes requires a lot of capital invested, which is why most builders, if they do go after 50 or anything 20 acres and above, they're mainly looking for someone that's already done the work to get it site ready and shovel ready, as they call it.
Wow.
Yeah.
You said over what percentage? You mentioned something.
I would say anything over like 90% is a very good indicator that there's like strong demand there in that particular area.
Okay, so just to quickly recap, like the 7 days, for example, 33% sell-through rate. That's 33% of listings that were sold.
Correct. Yeah. And all sell-through rate really is for sale, the number of for sale divided by sold is how they get that percentage.
Okay, got it. Okay.
Yeah. So anything over 90, me personally, 90% would be a very good indicator that you're in a strong market. If it's below, let's just say if it's like between 70 and 85, 90, I mean, it's still, I mean, it's not like the worst market either because things naturally take time, especially once you factor in for like market conditions and things of that nature. But this general rule of thumb mainly applies to like land flipping more than wholesaling. You know what I mean? But it can kind of go, it's a tool that you can use to underwrite and also taper your expectations when picking out a market, if that makes sense, especially if you're picking out a market that you do not have buyers for. This is when you will use sell-through rate to determine if I don't have a buyer for this and I list it on the MLS, how long will it take me to sell and find a buyer? And then that's what this tells you. It gives you like a good estimate to kind of like, again, set your expectations. So like going back to Citrus County, like let's just say if you're land flipping infill lots, 0 to 1 acres, the way you would analyze deals after you understand how to price them correctly is at the 90-day mark, there's an 83% chance that I could get this sold in 90 days. By the 6-month mark, I should definitely be out of here. No longer than 6 months if I have it priced correctly. Does that make sense?
Yeah, no, it makes sense. I have a lot that's listed, I know, in a market that I was trying out without any of these stats, and I'm finding out the hard way, basically.
What county was it, if you don't mind sharing?
This is in, I think, Hendry County. This is in Clewiston.
And where's that county? What state is that county located?
This is Florida. This is called Montura Ranch.
What's the name of the county? What?
Clewiston. CLEW. It's near Lehigh. CLEW.
CLEW?
Yeah. But you said the county? The county is Hendry.
Oh, Andrew, okay.
Hendry, Hendry. Yeah. Yep.
Oh, okay. Got it, right. All right, so boom. Let me copy this real quick just in case it don't do it. So you want to click on search and what range you were in?
This was a half acre.
A half an acre. Okay, so you'll be in this range. So you looking at
Yeah. Yeah.
at least worst case scenario, waiting 12 months.
Yeah, that's what I'm experiencing now.
Yeah,
Yeah. So
at least. And that's and you also got to think into the reason sell-through rate is important also is because when people don't take this into account, you're not accounting for the competition that you're already going against, meaning like the competition that's already listed on the market. So all of the inventory that's already on the market, you just coming in and getting added to that bunch, right?
yeah.
Um, and then even if you did price it correctly, understanding kind of like market cycles is also plays into this as well too, which is why you do want to look into this, right? So like prior or even next time around, right, you'll see like, okay, what's the likelihood or the probability that I can get this sold if I price it right in what given time frame? You know what I mean? Because then now you have to measure, are you willing to wait 12 months to make $2, $5, $10,000? You know what I mean?
I know,
I would
yeah.
only be okay with waiting 12 months if it's like a pretty big
Oh, I mean,
spread.
since I've
Yeah.
listed it, it's been listed for like a month, and all the other listings are dropping in prices. So it's like, so it's even worse. You
Exactly. So now it's a race to the bottom, and especially it's a race to the bottom, especially when there's an influx of inventory that you're competing against,
That's
which is
right.
why looking at this is like super essential, especially when you're listing them, because if you're competing a lot against a lot of inventory, and the sell-through rate is low, you're just gonna be you're just waiting to somebody be like, you know what, I want to buy this for this price.
Yeah, yeah.
So. But then if you look at like markets like what you call it, Cape Coral, like in North Carolina. In Cape Coral, for example,
Different.
Cape Coral at one point used to be a very, very like the in demand market. And in theory, it still is. But you could tell that even a county like Lee County, which is probably leading new construction in the state of Florida with that county alone. Even their days on market is getting pretty low,
Yeah,
right? And then you can also toggle to days on market, right?
yeah,
And you can see the average day on market for the last 7 days has been 45 days. This is also another thing that you can account, right? Because the whole reason we list on the MLS is like, let's just say none of our buyers want our property, or it's in a specific location or a unique location. You want to be able to see like, okay, if I get it for a low price, how long am I going to have to wait to sell it at a higher price? And then from there, you just assess your risk to reward. Am I willing to risk 45 days on market and wait, right? And then you just have to ask yourself, okay, is the wait period of time satisfy the amount of money that I'm making in this given time frame? Does that make sense?
yeah, yeah. Yeah, I
And
mean,
then there are times where, and Frats also just to piggyback to, so you know you're not alone in this. I did a flip this year where like I didn't lose money on it, but I just had to like cut my losses and know like, damn, like the market definitely turned for the
yeah,
worse.
yeah,
And I anticipated going into it, but I anticipate waiting 6 months. You know what I mean?
yeah.
Um,
Yeah,
and
no,
it's even with analyzing, sometimes you can't even predict where the market is going to go because we picked this up in like February or March, and at the time I was like, we should at least be out of here in like less than 6 months,
yeah,
right? Because the next highest lot that sold was like 189, and we picked one up for 124 in Palm Coast. And I was like, oh, we could get 140, no problem. Like we were the lowest priced lot in that whole community, and we still didn't sell, bro. The only lots that sold in that time frame sold for $90,000. way well below market price.
That's crazy. It's
And
crazy.
it was kind of like, it ain't nothing you can, you know what I mean? Like, so these stats are to kind of give you a very good feel of worst case scenario. Are you okay with worst case scenario? And then obviously it's very good to fantasize and be like, this is best case scenario, but you can't even marry that possibility because you have to always account and be okay with worst case scenario. So you're definitely not alone in that, because even though these are good to kind of like predict the future, things can change and then kill
Yeah,
your
no,
whole analysis. Which there's nothing we can do to hedge for the demand. You know what I mean?
yeah, no, this helps a lot in making those decisions because I was kind of just looking at them. I was looking at it for a few months and I saw traction, but I mean, I'm all over the place. This is like, keeping things there for you. So I thought I had a chance in that market, but just like everything else in Florida since February, January, it's like
Yeah. In my opinion, I think the market definitely took, and this is like universal, and then maybe there's some nuances that apply to this, but I feel like after March, bro, March is when I started noticing it. And when I started noticing it was a builder that I was working with, K Hovind. I had a lot under contract in March for 140. They agreed to 150. Bro, the day before their due diligence was expiring, he gonna send me an email talking about oh yeah, we have to reduce the price to 135. Like, we what?
yeah.
No reason other than, oh yeah, market demand is shifting and we just need to adjust our pricing, right? And then from there, I was like, yeah. And then literally, builder after builder starts slashing their prices.
Yeah, no,
And
I mean
then
that's last
say that
year.
one more time.
No, last year with even early, yeah, okay, last year, earlier this year, any realtor I called with a deal, they were hot, they were on it. But as soon as January turned, I felt everyone's hesitant. And I was like, huh. By February, I was like, yeah, this is going down. Yeah.
Yeah. And then, I mean, rightfully so, because from a builder standpoint, it's difficult for them to be aggressive in acquisition when they still have inventory sitting on the market. So that
Right.
same thing you're going through right now with your lot just sitting on the market, imagine that from the builder standpoint. They've already built this house, finished it to completion, and then they're waiting another additional 6 to 9 months just for it to sell.
Hmm. Yeah, no, it
And
makes
then
sense.
and then multiply that by however many homes they're building, right? That are just not selling. And it's getting also to the point now, it's so ironic how market cycles work, because when the market's in favor to the builders, bro, they are sharks. They're shisty. They're like very, very like sharkish.
Hmm.
When the market's going against their favorite, they're the most generous individuals you'll ever meet in your life. When it's not going their way, they're giving out incentives, they're paying realtors 5% commissions, they're paying closing costs.
Hmm.
But when the market's hot, bro, zero F's given on their part. Zero.
Yeah.
They're sharks.
Hey, Francisco, can you look at something for me? I put
Yep.
you in the chat
Yep.
because while you still have Land Portal, can you look
Mhm.
at that? That's the APN number, the city and the county.
Okay. And
And
real quick, let me get to some of the questions real quick in the chat, Carla,
okay.
before I pull that up.
Oh, okay.
So if you do not have Land Portal, you can still do the same thing in Zillow. And then the only thing you have to do is just toggle back and forth between properties that sold or properties that for sale and properties that sold, and then just divide them. So you divide for sale by the ones that sold in that given market, and then that's how you get your sell-through rate. So you, just to clarify, you do not need to pay for Land Portal to kind of see those stats. You can do it manually. You just have to toggle back and forth, and then just divide and do the math. Could you please show the percentage of 90-day in San Bernardino County? Yes. So let me pull that up, Carla, real quick, and then I'll pull up your property.
Oh, no, that's fine.
San Bernardino County, California. All right, so let me go ahead and share my screen. So California pop up, great. And then you said San Bernardino County. Oh,
Yes, that'd be great. Thank you.
no worries. San Bernardino.
Because I'm getting a lot of action on Marketplace, but I think I'm going to have to do what you're doing, put it on the MLS. But at the same time, I know the seller is looking at the MLS for what's going on in the area, so that's why I'm hesitant in putting it on the MLS. But
With what acre size is it?
it's only 0.24 acres.
Okay, so it'll be
Yeah.
between this range. So you're looking at ooh, worst case scenario, maybe 12 months if you're lucky. Worst case
Wow.
scenario.
Yeah, all right. That this is very, very useful way to look at things. Now I'm just going to drop the price and say goodbye.
Yep. And then and real quick, just so you guys know, there is a popular real estate agent on YouTube that I actually used to watch when I first got started. His name is Ricky Caruth, right? And he still makes a lot of videos to this day, but he recently made a video a couple of days ago where he was like, sellers only have two options right now: reduce the price or keep the property.
Right.
So in like a market like this, and for the most part, anywhere that's like close to any metros, for the most part, is experiencing this. Like market is like in a downtrend, right? And obviously there's a lot of economical factors that play into that. But yeah, right now, those are the two options. Reduce the prices, keep the property.
Wonderful. No, this is awesome, Francisco. Thank you so much.
No worries. And Carla, yeah, his name is Ricky Caruth. So yeah, listing agents. And you know what's surprising, just as a quick side note, they don't teach you none of this in real estate school. You go get your license, they don't even talk about this.
Yeah.
And it's like, I recently, I by no means, guys, was I an expert at this prior to February of this year. Like I paid someone for a consultation to kind of like learn a little bit more on how to like make better decisions in market selection and stuff like this. And then, once he showed me this, I was like, wow, this has been a thing for like the longest and no one's ever talked about it, which is crazy to me that they don't go over this in real estate school.
Yeah. Fantastic.
Yeah.
Good stuff.
Can
Thank you.
look at Palm Bay real quick
Mm-hmm.
for a strong market as an example? I don't know if you did that already.
Mm-hmm. Palm Bay is it's doing pretty good.
Yeah, I want to see that one.
Palm Bay at 90 days, you're looking at 80%. By the 6-month mark, you're at 97. But again, the key thing here is always going to be pricing, especially when it's a buyer's market. And what happens in a buyer's market is, what do we all do when we have options? We take our time. We're not in a rush. You know what I mean? Like, oh, I could go here, I could go there. I'm not in like a quick hurry to make a decision. But when there's a limited amount of options, now it's like you got to be decisive, you got to be quick, or you're going to lose out. Right now, buyers have all of the control because they have unlimited options that they could choose from. And their negotiation tactic is, well, you're asking $50,000, the lot next down, couple doors down, so for 15. So I'm not really in a hurry.
Yeah,
I find a good deal.
that too.
So you really, right now is very a good time to be very strategic in your pricing, especially if you're going to flip lots.
I put
Yeah.
in the market where you put market, I put 32907 Florida.
32907.
And then put Florida. Like actually type out Florida.
Florida.
Or FL, sorry. Yeah, there you go.
Oh yeah, this is also a very good thing. You can do it by zip code as well too. Boom, in this zip code, immediately, I need to price it right and I'm out of here in 30 days. Now, obviously, you do want to taper this as well by looking at like, okay, what's the count? because it's good that for sale sold 10. Oh, this is actually, oh wow, that aligns perfectly with my example earlier. 10 properties went up for sale in 30 days, 12 sold. So in this particular zip code, this is also another thing to keep in mind too. Especially if you're in a market where you're doing stuff virtually, this universal principle should apply everywhere in the United States, especially if you guys are all in different states. Whatever state you're currently in, right? Think about an area where one part of town is like super expensive, high end, luxury, but then 5 minutes down the road, it's like a completely different place and a different price point. And can you guys drop a 1 in the chat if you guys are familiar with that, wherever you guys stay at or know a place like that? Yeah, Julie said that's like Houston. So when you're doing stuff virtually, you want to account for that as well too. Because oftentimes if you're not very like geographic specific, you can easily misread your exit price on the resale. Does that make sense? So like another good thing to also look at is the activity zip code specific. And then also get even more granular with like doing it in a subdivision, right? And then you can also, like use Land Portal to do that as well too. But starting off with a zip code alone will be very like targeted specific because there's a boundary for every zip code, right? So in this one, this is in you said Brevard, right, Frost?
I think that's what he said. I think that.
Okay.
Uh-huh.
So yeah,
Yeah, no,
in this,
that's hard. Yeah, that's
oh,
one of the popular areas in Palm Bay.
oh yeah, for sure. So yeah, like even in the last 90 days, 22 went up for sale, 27 sold. Those are type of markets where like, okay, the demand based on previous statistics is trending in a very good direction, even though it's in a tight, the market overall is in a tight place. You know what I mean? Now it's still going to be very competitive, obviously acquiring it, but if you acquire it right, you should have no problem selling in a zip code like this. And this is ideally what you want to look for, is the demand superseding the supply. Yeah, Land Portal gives comps as well too. They actually have AI comps as well. You literally just put in the property address and then you press AI comp report, and then it literally creates this whole report for you. And then it gives you like an estimated price, and then it gives you all of the comps right here. And this is all AI generated. It takes like 2 seconds for it to come together. Are the stats just for MLS listings? Is it different when you have a builder's list? What do you mean by that, Carla?
Okay, so when you have you have your builders, you got your builders that you coordinate with. And so with those kind of numbers, really what I'm trying to ask is what you just showed us how to, look at that. Is that when you listed on the MLS only? Those are from ML listings. But how should a person look at that market if, like in Florida, you have builders that you associate with, their buy box, right? And you're coordinating. How can we use this data if I have like 3 builders that I work with, they give me their buy box and I meet that? Is this helpful when I'm looking at those zip codes that you just mentioned?
So yeah, so I would only,
yeah,
I get what you're saying. Yeah, I would only look at this if you don't, like, you're trying to enter a market where you don't have builders in, right? So if you do have a builder in any market, I think it's a good thing to kind of like be very, very specific to their requirements of what they look for. So then that way it's almost like you're just playing matchmaker at that point, right? So no, I wouldn't necessarily use this if you have a builder, but I would use this if you are trying to break into a market where you do not have builders in. And then you can use like strategies like listing on the market, partnering up with a realtor, and builders oftentimes come to you because, contrary to popular belief, builders still buy lots on the MLS, right? So another good way to kind of like get buyers is post deals on the MLS. If you price it right, I guarantee your builder will contact you and make you an offer. And then once they make you an offer, you just, save their information, you build extra rapport, have extra dialogue, and then you just go from there.
Wow, that's awesome. So
Mhm.
can you look at the one that I put in the chat? Because I need your help looking at that. This one has an extreme slope. And I don't, that
So,
market, yeah, the one that I put in there earlier, could you help me analyze it, is what I'm getting at? Would
yep.
that
So
be,
this
would,
is
yeah,
in Tennessee.
yes,
Okay. And this is in Athens County.
McMahon.
Oh, McMahon. Okay.
Mhm.
So I will say I'm not too familiar with slopes because I live in Florida,
Okay,
but I can
okay,
definitely help you out the best I can.
okay.
All right, so boom. So this is it right here.
Uh, let's see. It looks like it, yeah.
Okay, perfect.
Copeland, yeah, that's him. That's him.
Okay, perfect. All right. So the first thing that I notice is what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna zoom in, and I'm assuming I see a road here, but I don't know if it's paved or if I don't know if it's like, let's see, it
Oh,
doesn't have the address, so let's look it up on Google Earth real quick.
okay. This is so helpful. Thank you.
And then what I'll do is I'll also plug in this address on Google Earth just to see, because the first thing I want to do is confirm if this is a paved road, which it looks like it is.
Oh, okay.
Let's see if we can drop person here. And normally what I like to say is if you can't drop your person in front of it, that's probably a good indicator. It's not on the main road.
Okay.
So let me look at it here. I don't know, Carla. I do not think that this is on a main road. I'm not sure. I could be wrong though, unless somebody sees something different than I do. Because I don't think this is taking me to the actual place. Give me 1 second.
Okay.
Francisco, what about PropStream? They typically have the details and you can click on the photo.
Give me 1 second.
Julie, is that what you have?
I just got PropStream, yeah.
Let me see I don't have a PropStream account, but let me see what you're seeing, Julie.
All right, hang on. Do you want to get, what's the address? 950? Click, hang on a second.
Oh wait, let me allow you to build the share screen. Sorry. Go ahead.
Okay. And so when I'm looking at those pictures, while she's doing that, okay, so I'm looking at the pictures and on Land Portal, and I can tell the trees when they're fluffy looking, you can tell it's dense with trees, but
Mhm.
that looks so distorted to me. Maybe not the big, full, thick trees. Maybe it's those tall, skinny ones that, maybe it's a lot of them on there. But I was trying to see how much of it is buildable. And if it's
So
yeah,
Land Portal will tell you it'll do I would say take this with a grain of salt because you still will probably have to send like a surveyor out there. So the one that you're referencing, it's 20 acres, right? The good thing that it is that it does have working in its favor is that if that is a road that's paved, that it has a lot of road frontage, which is very, very good, right?
okay.
Um, And then the next thing that you want to kind of look into, which you can also do on Land Portal, is you see where I'm clicking at the bottom right-hand corner where it says maps, filters, and views.
Yes.
The next thing you want to look at, you still have to do your due diligence on this, but see if it's in a FEMA floodplain, which is not, because nothing pulling up. And then see if
Okay.
it's any wetlands, and there's very little wetlands here, as you can see. So you have another thing that's working in your favor. So 2 things so far. Very good road frontage, very huge road frontage, no wetlands, not in a FEMA floodplain, so you're good. The next thing you're looking at is the use description or the zoning. And then right now it's zoned rural agricultural. Right?
Okay.
And then if you want to just you simply just click on AI report. I like to just take the address, AI report, comp. Put the address right here.
Oh, okay.
And then give it about maybe 1 or 2 seconds. And then it's done.
So that's the comp report analysis. Okay, so you see how that looks on there? Is that hills or is it mainly, and you see how it has 80% slope?
Mm-hmm.
So
So
how do
slope
I,
estimation, yeah,
yeah,
I'm not an expert in slopes, so I
slopes,
honestly
okay,
wouldn't be able to even tell you if that's a good or bad thing. But I will say from a pricing standpoint, you can see some of the comps that they pulled up here, right? 20 acres is very, very big. So in this particular example, I would say it would be okay to go out further than a mile to see,
okay.
what other lots in the area so that are similar in size, right?
Oh,
So
okay.
even this 20-acre parcel that's very close relative to the size, given the size, right?
Uh-huh.
It's only a mile, less than 2 miles away, 1 mile and 1.87. It sold for
Mhm.
214,000 back in March of 2024. The most recent parcel that's very similar in size, 8 miles away, but most recent in sale, sold for
Mhm.
202.
Mhm.
So now you have to see there, you don't see anything in 2025 that sold for 20 acres. So
Mm.
the best thing that you could do is take the most recent comp, and you can do maybe 202, but you definitely want to, the only thing you have to take into account is look how long it took for all of these other ones to sell. So you got 59 days on market, 44 days on market, 97. If you were to use this as a comp, that's 8 miles away. It took 97 days for them to get 202.
Mhm.
So you can take this price as a grain of salt. Obviously, this will probably be what the land is value at from a retail standpoint.
Mhm.
And in order for you to make any money on that, you probably want to get it under this price. Very well below
Okay.
this price.
So
Francisco,
then
I've
that
got
would,
this pulled up in PropStream. It looks like there's 21 properties under that address, so I'm kind of confused, but I'm happy to share my screen and show you.
Yeah, let me see what you see on
would you,
PropStream.
Julie? Thanks.
Sure, absolutely. Let's see, screen 2. All right, let me know when you can see it.
Okay.
Okay, so this is the address and it says 21 properties. So I'm not sure I've never seen this before. There's
Mhm.
nothing, except for the lot sizes, there's nothing showing a difference.
Can you look it up by parcel number on PropStream?
Yeah,
You see it on there, Julie? I put in the
parcel
chat.
number.
Yeah,
Uh-huh.
do instead of click on filter.
Okay,
I do not know.
you have to go up here and put the APN number.
Okay.
Okay,
Do you
you
have the
might just
APN
have
number,
to type it
Carla?
out.
Yeah, let me put it in there again.
Let me stop sharing so I can get back. Oh wait, here's the chat.
Yeah, I put it in the chat. Just don't put the underscores.
Okay, so, and then it's. What's the county?
McMinn, McMinn.
It's Tennessee.
Yes.
Let me see if that pulls up that way. Here we go. Yeah, it took a while to figure out how to pull it up by that. All right. What just happened? Okay. Oh, here we go. So the details are here.
Okay, there we go.
All right. So I'm going to click on. It's going to be kind of right in the middle.
Zoom out a little bit,
Yeah. Let's see.
and then see if it allows you to put that person in front of that road right there.
This
Okay,
one,
so yeah, it is on a paved road. Yep.
It's a
that's a
paved.
county road.
Yeah.
Okay.
If you can put the person on a paved road, yep, you good.
It's a double. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, there we go. So yeah, you see, it does look like it's a uphill, a hill going up.
Here. Oh,
This
I
is a
see
hill
what
going
that.
up,
Yeah,
and that's
Okay.
going down and then up.
yeah.
Is there any other details you want to see in here that I can show you?
Okay.
No, yeah, look, and then that's also a good indicator that, now again, I cannot advise on anything slope related because I've never dealt with anything that had to do with slopes, but I would probably reach out and just confirm, like, what to either a home builder or maybe, get some feedback from a builder that would entertain a 20-acre purchase, or even realtors, right, that deal with larger tracts of land and see. I don't know if anyone else on this call has any slope experience, but yeah, I've never dealt with slope. So I would get feedback from the market and see what they think about it, whether it's a good deal or not.
Okay. All
Yeah.
right.
But price point, if you're able to maybe, allow the seller to be open for, it all depends because the sky's the limit on how much you want to make on this, and obviously what the seller is willing to accept or not accept.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I would probably maybe start having talks around 140, 150.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
Okay.
See what this it is.
Okay.
Francisco, it says comps at a glance for this property, average sale price 137,000.
Yeah.
So that's
Okay.
kind of in range. And you're
Yeah.
welcome, Carla.
Okay.
My pleasure.
Thank you, Julie.
Absolutely.
Mhm.
I love this community.
That's probably where I would start the conversation out.
Okay. And then the other question I had was GIS maps. What are the
Mhm.
benefits? Because the ones I'm finding outside of the ones in Florida, they're hard for me to analyze. I don't understand some of them. They just, especially when you get to not Kentucky, but Tennessee and Ohio, I couldn't figure out for the life of me. I even checked one in Texas. I was like, why did they make them so hard to read? You can't get any kind of data. So what is the data I need to extract from them? And can I get it from someplace other than a GIS map?
So every GIS map will be different. And I think the easiest way to kind of like navigate it is calling either, because every county is going to have a different name for it, or the use of it is going to be different as well. But the easiest way to figure out how to use it or where to find it is calling either the planning and zoning department, or every county may call this differently. So you might have to, play around and ask them what you're looking for. But most counties should have development services, right? And you can just ask to speak to the development services department, and then they should be able to guide you like, hey, how can I use your county site to find if this property has utilities? Do you guys have a GIS map that we can analyze properties that we're looking for investment purposes or for some of our builder clients? Can you direct us where to find that information so we don't always have to call you for it? And if they have a development services department, they can guide you for that to that information. Because I recently had to do that. I recently had to do that for a county, and I was like, I could not find their GIS map whatsoever. And I was like, let me just call the utility department. And then obviously they had to transfer me over and stuff like that. But then once I finally got a hold of someone, they told me that, yeah, I asked them what department they worked in. They said development services. I was like, do all counties have that? They're like, they should. And that was something that I learned as recent as last week. You know what I mean? So you do have to do a little bit of digging, and then you just have to like ask the county, like, hey, this is what I'm looking to do. Where can I find this in your website? And then they'll tell you.
Okay, because mainly I just use it to find out if they have the utilities on there, and that's all I'm looking for, right? Okay.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Francisco, does Zillow not give utility information? Sometimes it does, I think.
They do if it's like a listing that an agent has.
Oh, I
Um,
see.
yeah, but I would still verify that with the county as well too, because most agents probably don't know that.
Okay.
Yeah. And then also when it comes to utilities, that would be another thing that, you know, why it's beneficial to do market research and also check with like the actual local government body that handles that, just because builders are going to ask you that. And you probably want to have an answer to those questions if they ask you like, hey, if it's well and septic, city water, sewer, and then the city can kind of like clarify that for you as well too.
Do you suggest
Oh,
calling the city versus emailing them?
Yeah,
Even though it might be a few hour hold
Oh
and
yeah,
constantly transfer to different department and they don't know and hold. I found that.
correct. Yeah. So with every county and city, like some of them, like for example, Marion County here in Florida, you can email them and then they'll typically get back to you within like 1 to 2 business days if you're lucky,
Oh,
right?
that's nice. Okay.
But other counties, like for example, Point Siena, good luck. You gotta wait like 14 business days to get a response. Um, but yeah, so you just really got to know the lay of the land as well too, because those people hold the information that is needed to get you where you want to go.
another great call. I appreciate you. You helped me get a lot of clarity today. I feel better because I couldn't wait till today.
Well, I'm glad I could be of service. So I'm glad that, you know, I like to look forward to doing these calls as well too. I think for the year and a half that I've been doing these calls, I probably only missed like a handful of times. So yeah, I do enjoy these calls with you guys. I do want to try to make it, you know, as interactive and as focus based, you know, around your business as well too. And then in the upcoming weeks, I'm actually been working on like a passion project of mine that I want to share with you guys that will make the JV experience a lot better. So and I'll give you guys a quick rundown of it, which will probably motivate me to make sure these developers get it done in a timely manner. But basically, you know, obviously JVing is a very big part of, you know, any wholesaling community, and it's often talked about a lot. And then what I started recently seeing when it comes to like joint ventures or collaborating on deals with people, and I actually want some of you guys' feedback on this if possible. What I'm starting to realize when it comes to JVing, especially when you start JVing with a lot of people, is communication is a very big part of like it can either make or break a successful JV partnership. I feel like we can all agree to that, right? So one of the things that I've been working on is pretty much creating an ecosystem, because the most JV things, most of the things that people do when they want to JV is they create a form, people fill out the form to send them the deal, and then the communication is done either on email, text, or it's like variety of different things, right? So I wanted to take it a step further and kind of create a platform from scratch that will allow me to intake deals, but then also like communicate about the deal from the same place you submitted the form. So that way, when I give you the feedback, you get notified in the exact same place you submitted the information from, get notifications to your texts, emails, and stuff like that. And then also make it faster for the person JVing to analyze the deal if it's a good deal or not. You know what I mean? And then that way you can kind of get real-time feedback. You can kind of keep track of like all the deals you sent me, and then all of the end results of the deals you sent. So that way you can kind of learn like, okay, the last couple of deals that I sent, these were the results. This is why it said yes. This is why I said no, things of that nature. So that's kind of like what I've been working on, just because I do want to make it a little bit of a smoother experience when it comes to JVing. So yeah, I do want to. What have you guys experienced been with J? I know some of you guys already JV'd with Derby and stuff like that, but like just in general, what has the
Francisco,
JV experience
can I
been?
give you
Yeah.
just the first thing that pops in my head? I haven't done a deal
Mhm.
yet. Yet is the keyword. But just thinking about like the process, because I'm my brain is analytical and I have to know the whole process before I do it. But
Mhm.
thinking about like just in other situations in collaborations with people, it's like, okay, I emailed you such and such on this date, or I texted you this on that, trying to find where everything is. So having one place where you can have it all listed, you can scroll and see what like the history was to back from the data beginning of the deal, or just communication started to the end, and maybe having a place to upload documents there too, and screen prints or whatever. I think that would be awesome. One place for
Oh
everything.
yeah. Oh my gosh, you literally took everything out of my mouth. And I'll show you guys a sneak peek of it. I still have to design the UI or find somebody to do a better job with the UI. And then the developers need to code the last part of functionality to make it usable. It's not going to be something that I can like just roll out and be like, hey guys, start, using it. The purpose of it is like to solidify the proof of concept before I roll it out and like iron out all the tweaks myself first before I even release it to the public. Just because there's just a lot of stuff in the tech side that can go wrong. But I'm trying to find the link so I can
The
just
other
give you
thing I
guys.
think is really cool is that you said it gives you notifications, so you can set it up to notify you either in your phone or by text or something that there is something that someone has communicated or updated it somehow.
Yes.
Yeah, that would be helpful too.
All right. So I'm gonna show you the admin portion of it. But I also do want to kind of get some feedback because I'm building this off of all an idea. But I also, before I roll it out, I do want to take like opinions into consideration if I do decide to roll this out to the public. But for the most part, it's really just going to be like an internal tool that I use to like gamify the JV experience between those that I JV with. So this is what the admin side, I should have just logged in on the user side first. But essentially, when someone submits a deal, you'll be able to just see the aerial view first. And then same thing like we just did, we'll be able to, drop the pin, analyze the deal and all of that. Obviously, all of the property information would be here. And then we could view different views of it and stuff like that, roadmap, things of that nature. Julie's point, document section goes here. So whenever you fill out the JV form, it's supposed to load automatically in here. And then of course you'll upload your purchase agreement or whatever we need to send to title. All of it will be here. And then boom, we just back and forth conversation. Boom.
So
Hey.
where do you load it up? I mean, do you take like a Zillow link for the property and pop it in there, or how does it get the map? How does it pull in?
What do you mean? Well, for the documents?
No, for the property itself.
Oh, it just a form. The person submitting the JV deal will fill out a form, and then this is how it
Okay,
populates on the back end. Yeah.
okay.
Um. So then that way it can kind of be like a two-way street, and you'll see the exact same thing. You'll see this exact same layout on your end, and then obviously the conversation of it. So it still has a way to go, but I think the main key things is just one, having a direct, dedicated place to talk about a deal in the exact same place where you submitted it at. And also still get notified, of course. You know what I mean? Because I think I try not to JV too often with I do JV, but when I say I don't try to JV too often, is because there's a lot of nuances, whether like the person has the deal on the contract. If they don't, then it's like, there's a lot of back and forth that goes on. You know what I mean? Um,
And you don't
So
want
it's
to do
just
it
like,
prematurely and just waste data or space in it.
correct. So it's just like there's been times where it's like, okay, people send me deals, it's a good fit for the buyer, but then they gotta like chase down the seller. Seller ghosted them, they didn't get a strong commitment. You know what I'm saying? Like back and forth, back and forth. And then vice versa, where it's just like, okay, you send me the deal, the buyer doesn't want it. And then now you need like a game plan of like, what do I do now? You know what I mean? So it's just kind of like my goal is to make JVing as clear, easy, and communication centric as possible. Because there's also been
So,
times where it's like, hey man, what's the update on this? And then the person
right?
doesn't get back to me like for like a week. You know what I mean?
Wow. So when the deals are done, do they go in archive or something for like history
Yeah, they'll
or?
go,
Okay.
yeah, they'll go into like an archive. Another thing that I want to kind of incorporate is, which is not done, I'll show you the prototype, and which what I wanted to incorporate was, you know how like you're able to see people's or anybody's JV criteria, you should be also able to see the JV criteria in the same place that you're submitting at. Does that make sense? So like you can see the criteria in the place, and then boom, submit the deal for that particular criteria. Is this okay? I think this is one of the prototype versions, but share this real quick. And again, this is the prototype, what it looks like. But essentially, JV criteria, boom, you're able to see it. And then this is the essential idea, boom, submit deal for this particular market. And then you'll be able to see like, okay, I've submitted this many deals, this how many ones close, things of that nature. And then of course, everything else. So
I
it's
like
still
that
like,
it's clean and organized and easy to navigate in, it seems.
yeah. So it's very basically if you see, okay, boom, Texas, these are the markets. If you got something that is, fits this, you just submit and then you just fill out the form for that particular one, right? And then you'll be able to manage it from here, from this standpoint and stuff like that. And fun fact, all of this was like, this is what they call like it was right at the tip of my tongue. It's another word for prototype, but essentially all of this was like coded with AI. I was literally telling AI what I wanted, and it'll put it together for you, but it doesn't code the functionality. You do have to hire someone to, code the functionality of it and stuff like that. But yeah, a mock-up, that's what it was, a mock-up. This mock-up was created all with AI based, which is crazy, which lets you know how fast technology is advancing. Unfortunately, I do not have coding skills, but yeah, all of that, the whole thing, the whole concept, I was like writing it out. I was like, this is what I want. And I was like, I wonder if AI can kind of like visualize it, and it could. So that was pretty cool. Sweet guys. So yeah, so we definitely can go ahead and pick back up next week as always. Definitely fun talking to you guys. I know we went a little bit over time, but like I said, I do generally enjoy talking to you guys. We'll be back same time, same place next week. No
All right,
problem.
thank
Talk to
you.
you guys. Enjoy the rest of your week.
All right, you too.
Mhm.